I've spent about 15 years now here in Korea, and I came back originally in 2005 to explore Korean culture, my background, and to find my parents, right? My biological parents. I took about 2 years to really dig deep in the weeds, but I couldn't find my parents at that time. I think I was born near Hapjeong area, I believe, or at least that's where my foster family was. So I was born in Seoul, 1981, February 12th. If that's real, I'm not sure, right? Because I know a lot of times records were changed, right? From what I know, my mom and dad were very young. My mom actually left, and my father and grandmother were responsible for taking care of me for about, I think, a year. They tried, and I guess life was too hard. So I went into a foster care family before my family back in America said, hey, this is the guy. This is Scott. In 1983, I was put on a plane, sent over, met my family in Detroit, Michigan, graduated from high school, got accepted to Michigan State University, graduated in 4 years, a lot of exploration, discovering myself. When I was growing up, I didn't actually want to be Korean. I think that's kind of like a shared feeling that a lot of adoptees have. And so even though my parents were always supportive, they tried to like put me into like Korean churches, take me to Korean events, but I was very resistant. I was like, no, I'm American, like I'm your child. A lot of my reluctance, I only discovered later why. I wanted to prove to my parents that I was their son. I wanted to fit into the culture, which was the environment of white suburbia. And if I admitted that I was Korean, then I admitted that I was different. And if I admitted that I was different, then that meant I don't belong. When I realized I couldn't find my biological family, I was like, you know what, it's just not meant to be. It's like a chapter in a book, right? Yeah, I skipped the first couple chapters. I don't need to know because I can still finish. Because I do have a family. Like I do have people that raised me and nurtured me. If I ever did meet them, I'd say thank you because I wouldn't have had all those experiences. If I had lived in the Korean system, I would be a completely different person. Growing up with my family, they were always like, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. There was no constraints. There were constraints, but like in terms of like how I want to create my identity, they were like, you know, this is your life, right? Like, for example, first grade, my mom's put a lunchbox on the counter and some food and said, make your lunch. This is first grade, like I'm a first grader. So what do you think I did? I took all the candy and stuff, I stuffed it in the lunchbox, and then I went to school and like eventually I traded off for like maybe a good sandwich here or a banana there. If I wanted to do tennis, all right, get a tennis racket, let's do some lessons. If I want to do baseball. I know not everyone has that luxury, I understand that. I mean, maybe it was a little bit of a privileged upbringing or just lucky to be put in that situation because I have heard of adoptee friends who've had really bad like living situations, right? So I feel very grateful actually that I was given this chance. Living here has not made me feel more Korean. You know, my Hangulmal is 잘 못해요 still, right? I got to a point where I learned enough that I felt like, okay, I can survive. If I wanted to be more Korean, I think I would have myself took more effort into learning the language, which I always say I'm gonna learn, right? I'm always practicing, I'm always learning, but like I haven't like really sat down in the weeds and taken a year of my life to like focus solely on learning the language, which I know would open so many doors. And I'm telling you now, hopefully maybe keeping myself accountable, I will. That's something that I do want to do, but I also felt that for how I want to shape my life and the people I want to surround myself with, most of that was spent teaching English. Most of that was meeting Korean friends who could speak English just as well. And so it just kind of fast-tracked the relationship versus me having to learn the language. I've been more focused on what others can do. That's why, yeah, living here has not really affected me identifying with being Korean because I am constantly reminded when I speak that I'm not Korean. I may look Korean, but I am not Korean. I am definitely, I would say, more American. There is a part of me that is fully Korean, but at the same time, like, my mind is not there. My mind is westernized. It's this idea of thinking anything is possible. Anything that you want to achieve is possible if you put in the effort and hard work, and there's always a way. So in terms of like me identifying with Korean culture, that part I guess I don't identify with. So how has living in Korea though helped shape my identity? It's probably put me in a place to meet more people like me that are on an adventure, more people that are out to discover who they are, because a lot of people that I surround myself with are travelers, are people of the world versus like people of one nation, people that are out exploring, right? That's people that are creative, passionate about kind of creating their own journey. And so that's helped shape my identity more so because it's allowed me to focus on what I believe I'm good at, which is bringing people together, which is creating unique, fun, interesting situations in a way that there might not be a monetary value, but there is an intrinsic value to this for shaping myself, saying like, look, this is what you did back in college. This is what you've done like as you've been traveling around the world. So yeah, Korea, I would say, has helped supercharge and reaffirmed, I guess, my identity in terms of who I want to be versus the Korean side of my identity, which I've pushed not aside, but I haven't really focused on that because I'm so focused on other things. The Han, right? The shared Han that this larger community is exploring, right? Confronting through this interview, through their own daily lives, finding the path to Jeong by creating the special moments in your life will ultimately resonate and impact the people around. And so I guess I hope that everyone has some Jeong in their life. My name is Scott McLaughlin, and this is my Korean American story.